appreciate everybody coming for this exciting announcement today. Over the last several years, we've been making incremental and significant investment in the transportation system throughout the city. And in the last year, we've seen an acceleration of the type of change we're hoping to achieve. We've seen the build out and near completion of an East Side bike network that allows residents on the East Side to get to and from various destinations safely on bikes, but also makes Jefferson safer for pedestrians and cars. In the last 2 weeks, we've seen major announcements from DDOT with respect to improved service with the Connect 10, which is a new brand, a more easily accessible system and 500 new trips, as well as Wi-Fi on those buses, allowing people to stay connected. And we've also seen, announced by the mayor a couple weeks ago, an historic collaboration with SMART to enable one fare system that works for all transportation systems within the city. And all of those investments are a result and called for in the strategic transportation plan we're announcing today. And then just a minute as to why we're here. Part of the strategic plan is the idea that we're actually going to have things that are beneficial to residents where they live and change the culture of the city and the departments so that everybody is acting in concert behind one unified vision for what the city should be and one unified vision for how the transportation network should work together. And we've made major investments in this park here, and we have issues as the city becomes more vibrant and more people are here of people cutting through to the freeway along this street. If you come here on most summer days, this park is packed, and people fly down this street to get basically to the freeway. Historically, DPW would not have seen it within its mission to make this kind of change for residents, to make parks safer, to make the neighborhood more vibrant, to make community infrastructure more available to residents. But today we're doing the first installation of 7 of these pilot projects with the idea that we're going to be able to roll this out citywide through an application process, assuming the first 7 pilot projects go well. So the great thing about this strategic plan that we're announcing today is that unlike many planning efforts that government undergoes, it doesn't just end up on a shelf. It has real deliverable value for residents that if you go to the back 4 pages, you can look and see all the different things we've committed to do, and you can hold us accountable to do them. With that, I'd like to introduce the mayor so he can talk a little bit more about the plan.
Well, let's start by thanking Dave Masseron, our Chief Operating Officer. This last year we did something the city hasn't done before, at least not in my memory, which is every single transportation division now reports to the same individual. So that whether it's the road repairs, whether it's the buses, whether it's the sidewalks, whether it's the bikes, whether it's even the scooters, everything is coordinated. And for the first time in many years, the city of Detroit today has a strategic transportation plan. And any one of our residents can go to our website and you'll see the 82 action steps that we have laid out. 82 steps we're going to take over the next 4 years to make it easier and safer to move around in this city. And each one of those 82 steps is going to be measured at 1 and 4 year increments, so you're going to be able to track whether we're making progress on the 82 steps we said that we were taking. Some, as Dave just mentioned, have already occurred, such as the new buses, the Connect 10 routes on the transit system. But we have many others in these steps that are going to be coming in the next months and years. One is, as you're seeing today, speed cushions, which I don't remember the last time I was at a neighborhood meeting where the neighbors didn't say, I have a problem with speeders on my residential streets. Now, we will never have enough police officers to track speeders down every residential street in this city. But a number of cities have used speed cushions. Detroit has historically not done that. And so we brought in some national expertise, and we're taking the first 36 locations, parks and schools. We're going to put in the speed cushions. We're going to see how they work. And once the neighbors get a chance to see the pros and the cons, you're certainly safer as you're walking by. We'll see how disruptive the neighbors feel this is to their own traffic. We may significantly expand these speed cushions throughout the city. You're also going to see us bring out transit fares before the end of the year. You're going to be able to buy your transit fares on your smartphone. You're going to see a modern traffic management system where we'll control street light timing from a central location, which following major events, concerts and the like, to be able to switch the light timing from a central place is something other cities have done for years. We're going to have the ability to do that here. We're going to have safer pedestrian crossings. Our pedestrian injuries and deaths are far too high, and you'll see those designs. And you're going to see in our commercial corridors beautiful streetscapes where we can encourage businesses to locate in the neighborhoods by building out beautiful streetscapes that encourage the neighbors to walk and shop in those particular districts. And as I say, best of all 700,000 of our residents will be able to see the plan. And as we go from neighborhood to neighborhood with improvements, they will be preceded by community engagement, conversations, and meetings so that we build the kind of transportation system in the city that's for Detroiters and that Detroiters want. All of this has been made possible because of former New York Mayor Mike Bloomberg, who has contributed staff from a group called Bloomberg Associates. And they had the kind of transportation expertise that came in and allowed us to develop that plan. And Mayor Bloomberg's transportation commissioner was a woman by the name of Jeanette Sadiq-Khan, who's famous in Times Square for having created one of the most now tourist destinations of the city, where she simplified the road system and put in a walkable area that is absolutely beautiful. And so for the last couple of years, Jeanette has been a huge part of writing the plan here, and we couldn't have done it without her. So let's give a warm welcome to Jeanette Sadiq-Khan.
Thanks, Mayor Duggan. And it's so exciting to be here for the announcement of this new strategic transportation plan for Detroit. And in just the last year, the mayor has taken Detroit so far, so fast, whether it's more frequent bus service, the new bike lanes, safer streets, all of the new paving and state of good repair work that's gone on. But I think most importantly is the vision that the mayor has brought to the streets of Detroit. And the point of the 82 goals that are outlined in this strategic transportation plan isn't just to build better projects. It's actually to build a better city for everyone in Detroit. It has goals that support the economic and educational opportunities for all Detroiters, from pre-K to postdoc, choices that give people more opportunities to get around without having to own a car, to make it more affordable to get around the streets of Detroit. We've worked with mayors and cities all across the world, and I have to say, I have never seen so much progress happen so quickly. Whether it's putting new public spaces on Woodward, rethinking the city's trunk lines, repaving state of good repair work, the new bus expansion on the Connect 10 lines, the DDOT and Smart Fare integration, which is the first down payment on a truly regional transit system, and the fastest one-year expansion of a protected bike network. That's the fastest that's ever happened in any city in North America. And we've already put so many points on the board and so many facts on the ground. And this plan isn't just a report that's going to gather dust on a shelf. It's an implementation plan with 1- and 4-year benchmarks so that all of you can hold this administration accountable for their success. And as the mayor said, this report is the work of an incredible team of leaders here in Detroit. And I want to thank not only the mayor, but his team, Dave and Ron and Maurice and Mark and Angelica and Katie. Here's to your vision for what you've done today, and here's to making this plan a reality on the streets of Detroit. Thank you.
So as the mayor said, everywhere we go, we're going to hear from residents. So we have June, who lives just around the block, who walks to this park every day, who's going to speak a little bit about the speed cushions. Come on up, June.
Thank you. I'm a membership chairperson of Winship Community Association, also the recording secretary for Sinai Grace Guild. I'm excited to be here and very glad that the city has seen fit to install these speed humps around Peterson Park, which is long overdue. While walking this morning, I observed several cars and several school buses go around the speed bumps. For some strange reason, some of us don't follow directions, but the speed bumps are necessary. There have been several accidents around this area, even deadly crashes, as you all are aware of through the news. I would love to see them all around this park and every park in the city of Detroit. It will deter speeding. Winship walkers use Peterson Park at least 3 to 4 times a week. We have seen all the changes that are taking place here, and very pleased to see the progress. We look forward to seeing more in the coming future. We have to crawl before we can walk. As a member of this community, I would like to thank the powers that be for all that they are doing in the community to improve the quality of lives. Hopefully, this will generate a safety zone for those of us that utilize the park. Encourage your neighbors to become more involved. It's called community involvement. This is our community. We need to support the city's overall transportation plan. We need good transportation and safe transportation. Everyone does not have a car. Besides, insurance rates are too high. Hopefully, the mayor will be able to do something about it. Thank you very much.
With that, we'll happily take some questions if people have them. The speed humps in particular? The speed cushions here? Ron, I don't know if you have an idea you can offer with that.
As the mayor indicated, we're actually installing 36 different sets of cushions at 7 different locations as part of the pilot project. We're going to be installing these along parks or schools in each of the 7 city-county districts to get started, city council districts to get started. Roughly the cost is about $1,000 per cushion, so we're looking at, for 36 sites, about 100 or so individual cushions that we're putting in, so about $100,000 for this initial pilot project.
No,
Paid
so
for by the gas tax
Yeah.
you're already paying at the pump.
anybody else?
I have a question. This is for Ms. Sadiq Khan. As you learned with your work in New York, the public always seems to have a pushback to these kinds of traffic calming implementations. How has that informed your work here, or what? Can you give us some words of warning? How has it changed this program?
Well, change is always hard. And, when you come from the government and you're trying to do things, there's sometimes a little question about what you're trying to do. But there's no question that with the injury and fatality rates on the streets of Detroit, that action is required. And Mayor Duggan has made it a priority to say, we need to do things differently, we need to look at our streets differently, and we need to do everything that we can to improve the safety on our streets and the mobility on our streets. And of course, when you try things like traffic calming, speed cushions, humps, narrowing streets, it's a little, people are used to their streets working the same way all the time. So that change can be a little different. But what you've seen is that people adapt quickly. Detroiters are smart. They're going to adapt to this very, very quickly. And when everybody has seen the tragedy in their lives of somebody hit or killed on the streets, of cities. And so we need to do everything that we can to protect our most vulnerable pedestrians, our older citizens and our younger citizens. And what we've seen in New York at the end of 7 years under Mayor Bloomberg was, 75% support for all of the changes that we did. So I think, the proof is in the pudding, and that's why I think this is an important pilot project, to measure it, to see the effectiveness, and then when that works, to expand it to neighborhoods that are interested in seeing more.
All right, so how many people live in the neighborhood? How many of you are happy that we put the speed humps in? All right. All right.
Renaissance is right there.
Right.
3 doors down here on Sussex. And they come here doing 40 and 50 miles out. And kids have to go to the street go to the street to Renaissance High School right here. We need them on Sussex Street right here.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to see how they work on Curtis, and then we're going to talk about Sussex. But you can see, I think this is the feeling. We could go to any neighborhood in the city, and the neighbors feel just like you do. And so we're going to see how this goes, and we're going to come back and talk to you again in the fall. And if you still feel good about these, we're going to keep expanding them. All right, does that make sense? Yes.
Okay, you're doing Curtis right here.
Right.
This going, how far down Curtis are you going with this?
Ron, how far are we going?
So this is the limit for the Curtis project. It goes from Greenfield to Sussex. I'm sorry, from Greenfield to Coyle. So that's the limit of the Curtis project. As I indicated earlier, we're also doing pilot projects in 6 other city council districts. So this project will go from Greenfield to Coyle.
You got roughly like 3 more you're gonna put in?
Yes. I think two more sets of 3 each.
Not yet. Not yet. So we're gonna see what happens here. One thing I've learned in this city is every time we do change, I'm glad to see so many people happy, but I'm going to have complaints on this by next week. That's just reality. But we're going to really evaluate this. And if there really is a feeling that the children are safer because of slowed down traffic, then I think we're going to talk about not just the other side of Peterson, we're going to be talking about a lot more parks and a lot more schools in the city. So this is new for us. I go to cities across the country, and I see that they're using this. For Detroit, this is new, and we're going to see how it goes. And when you hear one of your neighbors complain, I hope you'll speak up and say, this is something that's good for the safety of our kids, right? Yes.
I say that about the other side because every week when we have young children practicing football, there's almost 300 to 500 kids over there.
All right. So you're saying in this particular case, even though Curtis may be more heavily traveled, we may have more activity on the other side of the park. And see, this is what we learn when we talk to the community. So we're going to take a close look at that. Okay? Yes. Yeah. All right. You're starting to understand what my neighborhood meetings are like. Yes. Yeah, Sussex and Whitcomb. I got it.
Mayor, just to make an additional comment to this is fantastic what you're doing. And you know, Pickford was a couple years ago a deadly accident within the park with a speeder where 2 young people were killed and 2 were severely injured because of a speeder. The speeder survived. And you know, so
All right.
it's definitely an issue.
Okay, so Pickford too. All right, so it sounds like this is going to be a popular initiative. There are actually 81 other initiatives in the strategic plan, but I'm glad to hear that this one is getting such positive support. So we'll be around if anybody has any other questions. Thank you all very much.